Have you ever heard of a saint who saw the future of the Church over a century before it happened? Today we're diving into the extraordinary life of Saint Vincent Pallotti, a Roman priest whose vision was so ahead of its time, it perfectly aligned with the great reforms of the Second Vatican Council. Vincent Pallotti was born in Rome on April 24, 1795. His parents, Pietro Paolo Pallotti and Maddalena de Rossi, were deeply devout, creating a home filled with faith and love. From a young age, Vincent felt a strong call to the priesthood, a calling he would pursue with incredible dedication. On May 16, 1818, he was ordained a priest. His intellectual gifts were immediately recognized, and he soon earned a doctorate in theology and philosophy. Shortly after his ordination, Father Pallotti began his work as a professor. He taught at the Roman seminary and later at the prestigious Collegio Urbano de Propaganda Fide, the Church's central hub for training missionaries. He was a brilliant teacher, but his students were even more impressed by his profound humility and his evident all-consuming love for God. He was not just teaching theology, he was living it. His reputation as a wise and compassionate confessor grew rapidly. People from all walks of life, from the poorest citizens of Rome to high-ranking cardinals, sought his spiritual guidance. He spent countless hours in the confessional, offering God's mercy and wise counsel. Despite his academic and pastoral successes, he lived a life of radical poverty and penance, often giving away his own food, clothing, and possessions to those in need. He saw the face of Christ in every person he met, especially the poor and the marginalized. But a revolutionary idea was burning in his heart. Father Pallotti believed that the mission of the Church wasn't just for priests and religious. He envisioned a church where every single baptized person, man, woman, child, rich, poor, educated or not, was called to be an apostle, to spread the gospel in their own corner of the world. This was a radical concept for the 19th century, a time when the laity's role was often seen as passive. In 1834, this vision began to take concrete form. He gathered a group of diocesan priests, religious, and lay people from every social class. This group, initially called the Pious Union, would become the Society of the Catholic Apostolate, known today as the Pallottines. His goal was to create a confederation of all Catholics, united in prayer and action, to revive faith and rekindle charity throughout the world. He wanted to mobilize a spiritual army where everyone had a part to play. He organized evening schools for young workers, founded orphanages, and supported foreign missions. He encouraged artists, writers, and professionals to use their talents for the glory of God. For Pallotti, every profession, every state in life, was a potential mission field. A lawyer could be an apostle in the courtroom, a mother in her home, a merchant in the marketplace. He wanted to break down the walls between the sacred and the secular, showing that all of human life could be a path to holiness and service. As you can imagine, this vision was not without its challenges. Some within the church hierarchy were suspicious of his ideas. The concept of empowering the laity to such a degree was unsettling to the established order. He was accused of ambition and novelty, and for a time, his fledgling society was even suppressed. Through these trials, Vincent remained steadfast, trusting completely in God's providence. He endured misunderstandings with patience and charity, never losing faith in the mission God had given him. His tireless work eventually took a toll on his health. On January 22, 1850, during a particularly cold Roman winter, he gave his own cloak to a poor man he met on the street. He fell ill with a severe respiratory infection, and after offering his life to God for the good of his society, he passed away. He was just 54 years old. He died in relative obscurity, his great vision seemingly unfulfilled. But God's timing is always perfect. The seeds Vincent Pallotti had planted continued to grow. His Society of the Catholic Apostolate spread across the globe, and then, a century later, the Church itself caught up with his vision. In 1950, Pope Pius XIII beatified him. Then, something remarkable happened. On January 20, 1963, Pope John XXIII canonized him as a saint. This was not just any day. It was right in the middle of the Second Vatican Council, the historic gathering that would profoundly reshape the Church for the modern world. One of the central teachings of Vatican II was the universal call to holiness and the vital importance of the apostolate of the laity, precisely the vision Saint Vincent Pallotti had championed over 100 years earlier. Pope John XXIII called him a precursor of Catholic action and a pioneer of the lay apostolate. The Council's documents, especially Lumen Gentium and Apostolicam Actuositatem, echoed Pallotti's core beliefs, that all the faithful are called by their baptism to participate actively in the Church's saving mission. The saint from the 19th century was officially recognized as a prophet for the 20th. Saint Vincent Pallotti's legacy is a powerful reminder that we are all part of God's plan. He teaches us that holiness is not reserved for a select few, but is a possibility for everyone. His life challenges us to ask, how can I be an apostle right where I am? In my family, my workplace, my community. His story is one of faith, perseverance, and a love for God and neighbor that knew no bounds. He is a true inspiration for our times, calling us all to be active and joyful participants in the great adventure of faith. Thanks for joining us to learn about this incredible saint. If you found this story inspiring, please like this video and subscribe for more stories of faith that can change the world. See you next time.